I am Dr. Gautam Shah, President of Indian Psychiatric Society. You know that today is the World Schizophrenia Day. Every year on 24th May, we observe this day as a World Schizophrenia Day. And I think today it will be really good if I tell something about schizophrenia to the people who are non-medical or non-psychiatrist, because you know that all of us have an idea that if someone of us have schizophrenia, his future is doomed. Future is devastating. My dear friends, it's not at all. So before that, you have to know how to take care of this schizophrenic patient. That is why I made these slides and I am going to present these on schizophrenia. You know, schizophrenia is a chronic, severe disorder of mind. Yes, it is severe, but if you treat, definitely the outcome is, most of the cases, is fantastic. And it affects almost 0.5 to 1% of the population. And you know, the onset of the symptoms is in between the age of 18 to 30 years. That means it starts in the young age. But there are some exceptions also. It can start in the earlier also and also in the older patients. But this is very rare. It is also known as the greatest disabler of the youth. How do we diagnose schizophrenia? How the mental health professionals, psychiatrists diagnose schizophrenia? Basically, we need a detailed history of the man or woman who is suffering from schizophrenia, from their family members. For this purpose, for diagnosis, we can use different rating scale or diagnostic system like DSM-5 or ICD-11. Fully diagnosis is clinical based. There is no such laboratory test like blood test or like anything, or even radiological test which can diagnose a patient with schizophrenia. What are the clinical presentation of schizophrenia? In a short, you should know, because if somebody in your family is suffering from, you can diagnose, you can suspect that he or she may be suffered from this disorder. If you see the symptoms, it comes gradually or it may come abruptly also. It is basically one's thinking, feeling, and behavior which is affected. And it differs from person to person. Not that every individual shows the same symptoms. And symptoms also very much changing pattern. It can change over the time. There are something for the clinical presentation. There are some terminologies you should understand, because the patient with schizophrenia have this type of symptoms like delusion. You have to know what is delusion. It is basically false and firm, unshaken, fixed belief, which is absolutely false, I told you earlier. And it is not as per his or her socio-cultural background. So delusion is a false belief. Sometimes schizophrenic patient believes that his brother is harming him or his wife is harming him, which is not right. So it is a delusion. Neighbors are conspiring against him. It is a false belief. This is a delusion. This may not be true. And next, hallucination. Hallucination means you are perceiving something without any stimulus. Like there is a difference between illusion and hallucination. If you are suffering from illusion, then you can see that rope as a snake. But if you have a hallucination, there is no rope, no stimulus, nothing, but you can see that snake also without any stimulus. This is called hallucination. So delusion and hallucination, these are the positive symptoms which are very much common in some major type of schizophrenia. And social and personal behavior, sometimes patient become very lonely. He thinks that somebody can give some ideas in his brain, inserting their thoughts in their brain. There may be self-muttering. They cannot mix with their neighbors, maybe with the family members. Sometimes they become hostile and violent. There may be some mood symptoms like they can suffer from very low mood or in sometimes with a very much elated mood. There may be a tendencies of self-harming or other type of behavior which may include also suicidal attempt. And there is definitely, if somebody is suffering from this illness, there is a decrease in functional capabilities too. Now I am coming to what are the causes of schizophrenia. What are the reasons behind this? Yes, sir. Yes, friends. This is not because of that man or woman is pretending. Sometimes some family members think so, but it is wrong, absolutely wrong. It is an illness. It is an illness of mind which arises from brain only. So the causes may be the genetic predisposition. I mean, it may come from the family, or it may be the environmental, social, or psychological. All this leads to neurodevelopmental and abnormalities, and there are developing target features. Which is the target features? Brain dysfunction, improper balance of the neurotransmitter, the chemicals which are present in the brain, and which ultimately lead to schizophrenia. So next question is, definitely you are eager to know how schizophrenia occurs if it runs in your family. You know that if it is present your parent, one parent, or brother or sister, the chances of developing schizophrenia in you is 10%. If the both parents have it, you have a 40% chance of getting it. You know, there are lots of research which shown that dopamine abnormalities is the most important factor. The main neurotransmitters are dopamine, serotonin, norepinephrine. But in case of schizophrenia, dopamine plays the major role. And also in the chronic schizophrenia, we have found there are lots of brain structural changes too. So what are these course of illness? What is the prognosis? What is the outcome of this illness? If one of my family members, if my son has affected with this illness, what is the future? What is the outcome? You know that 25% of the patients will get free from this disease after taking a treatment. And other 25% patients will be able to continue his daily living and his continue his functional life with the treatment. That means 50% of the patients with treatment or without treatment are living a very meaningful life. 35% of the patient rest may live a life, but his or her cognition will be compromised. I mean, the higher function will be compromised, may not back to their previous functional life. The 15% of the patient will not respond to the treatment. But 85% of the patient respond to the treatment, out of which total 50% of the patient lead a very, very meaningful life. So don't be upset whenever you get the news that somebody you're too close to your heart is suffering from schizophrenia. Please go to the mental health professional, psychiatrist, and treat him. What are the mode of treatment? Mainly two: medicine, and number two is psychosocial rehabilitations. There are other mode of treatment, also neuromodulation like ECT, RTMS, but main treatment divided into the two part, medicine and psychosocial rehabilitation nowadays. There are lots of medicine in different groups. These medicines are called mainly antipsychotics, and previously those antipsychotics who are used has some side effect. People can understand this people is suffering from some psychotic disorders and taking medicine, but nowadays the side effect profile is very good regarding this, all these things. If patient takes antipsychotic medication, still they are become absolutely normal. Nobody can recognize they are still have any psychotic symptoms or any side effects of such that you can identify him or her as a mental patient. They mainly work through the neurotransmitter, what I mentioned earlier also. And there are side effects of all this medicine. In fact, there is no medicine in this world which is free of any side effect. But which we see the risk-benefit ratio. What is the risk of using this molecule or medication? And what is the benefit out of which by using it we are getting? Definitely, benefit is much more. That's why you are using this medicine, and patient can lead a very much meaningful life. But depending on the type of the medicine, side effects of the medicines, we are choosing medicine. Maybe sometimes individuality is our criteria. Whether the client is male or female, or we consider his or her age is very important. If some minor side effects are there in their initial period, they usually settle with the time. Sometimes some requires either reduction of the dose or addition of other medications also for combat these side effects. Sometimes the antipsychotic medicines needs to be changed. Now we're coming to about the do's and don'ts, what we can do and what we should not. First and foremost criteria is to ensure the medicines are taken in the prescribed doses. Do not stop without any advice of a doctor. Please continue the medicines till the next doctor is advising or changing this medicine or stop this medicine. If you have any side effect, if you have any problem, go to the doctor and take advice. If the medicines make a patient drowsy during the day, care should be taken in the activities like kitchen, driving a vehicle, operating heavy machinery. You should tell the doctor first whenever he is prescribing. Otherwise, if you forget, go and tell doctor, my son or my relative is working his driving cars, whether he is able to drive right now or after some days when he able to drive the car or do these jobs. This is very important. And if seeking help for a medical problem for other physician, let know about the psychiatric medication is being taken. It is vice versa. Even if you come to the psychiatrist after that, after taking help from any physician or any other branch of the doctor, if they have prescribed some medication, you have to show to the psychiatrist also what are the medications they are taking. And the most important also, whether patient have a pregnancy or is in the lactating period or not. If it is, you should inform. Not only that, during the taking medicines, if patient become pregnant, you have to tell the doctor as early as possible. Now I'm coming to the psychosocial rehabilitation, which is one of the most important part of this mental illness, because this is very important. It is not that after using antipsychotic medications, we can reduce the symptoms, we can make them free, but to set them to the society again, to set them again to their working place is very important. And it is a job of not only for the psychiatrist or other doctors, it is a job of their family members. In fact, I believe it is a job of society at large. So what are the fundamental principles of the psychosocial rehabilitation, especially for schizophrenia? Hope. Hope is the essential element. And definitely motivation is the next one. And you know that you have to be, regarding psychosocial rehabilitation, you have to be very much flexible and individually tailored, because you have to use the technique different in different people. The approaches are also very need-based, and psychosocial intervention or rehabilitation, this implementation is also a choice-based. So what are the focus of interventions? Definitely the daily living skill, social interpersonal interaction, vocational or educational training, leisure, how to they pass the leisure hours, family members, you have to talk to the family members. You have to make them understand that their support is very much important for curing. Financial also very important. You have to look after that part also. Make them aware, not only the patient, also the family member, also the caregiver. Legal aspect is very important. As someone is suffering from mental disorder, he cannot be deprived of what he deserves. Medication is very important. We have to look after whether he is taking medication regularly or he skip the medication. This is very important. Now I'm talking about the daily living. These are very important. Many persons face problems attending, like to eating. They need help. The habit of taking foods, you have to understand. Maintaining personal hygiene, grooming and toileting, using transport and shopping, all these are the important part of the daily living. And as a member of the psychosocial rehabilitation, you have to take care of all of these things. And only family member being a part of it, you have to take care. You have to encourage them. You have to give hope to them, and you have to make them understand this is also very much important for their life. So how will you proceed? You should identify the current level of activity, how much they can do. Identify their need by the client and the family members. Start with comfortable activities. Start with very simple activities. Proceed gradually. Motivate him. Reinforce them by encouraging and praising. and also definitely monitoring throughout the period. You can make a chart like this. I mean, you should make. It will definitely help a lot for improving of our patient. Improving a cognition, I mean the higher function, which includes attention, concentration, memory, executive function, how one can do one by one activities, how can execute whatever what he is thinking, in a action, problem solving in some problem, how can he solves, and decision making, whenever you need and take any decision, how can you take the decision. It is important. These are basically under the cognitive function, and you have to monitor all these things, and you have to help them to improve this area of your brain. So cognitive retraining or restructuring is definitely, cognitive rehabilitation is done by two ways. One is computer based, number two manual based. Now is social cognition. This is very important. You know that socialization is one of the most important part. To set them in the society is important. So for them, there are different techniques. You can take like role play. You may organize some group activities. Same type of patient, you can invite them and talk to them and train them. And some real life activities you can tell the family members, like family meals without any electronic device, to encourage the conversation. Sit together during the dinner time or lunch time, talk each other, attending the phone call, talking to the neighbors, going to the market, shopping. All these are the very important things. Maybe very small, but it will definitely help to come back to his previous mental and physical conditions. Vocational training is one of the most important, because by this they can get the confidence, they can learn something, their self-confidence will be improved, they can earn something by which they can take care of themselves, they can take care of their family, they may even contribute to the society also. There are lots of crisis situation in schizophrenia, you know. How to tackle this is very important. Number 2 point is marriage and divorce. Number 3 is parenting, or if your son or daughter is a patient of schizophrenia, how to take the responsibilities. And legal aspect, as I mentioned earlier, is also equally important. There are very common, there may be the episodes of violence and aggression, maybe the worsening of the symptoms also. Sometimes person with schizophrenia refuse to take any medicine, sometimes or meals also, food also. And the most important is if the patient with schizophrenia showing the sign of suicides or suicidal thoughts, attempts. So these are the very, very crisis moment or emergency situation when you should go to your mental health professionals, I mean psychiatrists, and take immediate help. Psychiatrist or psychologist, whatever, who is available, how to face this situation. Maybe you can take help of the suicide helpline. There are lots of, you can get it through internet. You can take their help also. Suicidal attempt also very much common. Being alert to the conversation of the person with schizophrenia, his or her sleep pattern, changes of behavior. Don't neglect it as they are pretending like this. Because if you miss it, then you can miss your patient. Trying to keep them calm through the reassuring conversation. Don't become agitated. And as early as possible, you should consult with the psychiatrist about the problem, and immediately after the detection of this type of intentions. And important thing is all medicines and objects which may cause the self-harm, like knives, ropes, keep all of this out of his reach, maybe under lock and key. Admission to a hospital for a brief period or any private mental nursing home for a brief period with consultation with the psychiatrist definitely is very important. Most importantly, don't leaving them alone. It may often require 24 hours visits in a day. Another thing, some situation includes definitely drop or increase in the blood sugar whenever you're treating schizophrenia, or cardiac problem may arise, or infection such as any infection, typhoid, appendicitis, maybe the coronavirus infection. Right now I can say. So you should treat side by side with the mental treatment. Not only that, sometimes some cardiac patient may develop schizophrenia. Some diabetic patient may develop schizophrenia. In those cases, family members should know that whenever they go to the psychiatrist, they should show their medical prescriptions too. An emergency situation, sometimes we can miss because person with schizophrenia does not report a discomfort. So you have to be more vigilant, more careful regarding this. And family and doctors may not be acknowledged discomfort if reported. So whenever any doubt, inform physician or surgeon for the mental illness. And most important is marriage and childbirth in schizophrenia. You know that sometimes people have an idea that if patient is suffering from schizophrenia, they are not able to marry. It is absolutely wrong. There are lots of schizophrenic patients have marriage and they are leading a very meaningful life. But the thing is that you have to ask to a doctor, psychiatrist, whether you go for his marriage or her marriage. It depends on the severity of the symptoms, severity of the illness. Most of the schizophrenic patients, I am telling you, can marry. But one thing is very important. Before marriage, you have to inform the other family with whom you are marrying that my client is suffering from schizophrenia or mental illness, chronic mental illness, and he is taking this medicines. If you need to consult with a psychiatrist, you can go and consult, and then you will finalize the marriage. Because before finalizing the marriage, it is important, don't do anything which is wrong. I mean, suppress any facts. Otherwise, it can be a legal problem. Now I'm coming to disability and welfare measures. You know that disability certificate is very important. Family members should know that. It enables a person with disability, I mean, if the patient has schizophrenia, to avail various benefits like travel, bus or rail passes, reservation for the employment, educational benefits are there. They can take loans with some benefits. There are lots of tax benefits also, pension transfers, and there is a scope for getting free legal aids. How can you avail these benefits? Obtaining the disability certificate, number one. The certificate should be attached when applying the concession for the travel, filling the tax return, applying for a pension transfer at relevant government department, and enlisting for a job at the employment exchange. And how can you get the disability certificate? It is better you go to any government hospital or medical colleges, talk to the social welfare officer. They will make you understand how to get it. Before that, I am just remembering, before concluding actually, I am remembering Professor John Nash. He was a great mathematician and he had schizophrenia. With the care of his wife, he became completely cured. And after that, he got the Nobel Prize in mathematics. Just think, if he could, why not you? Why not your son? Why not your daughter? Why not your close one? There is a movie called Beautiful Mind. With this fact, I request everybody, if you get time, if it is available to you, please look this film, see this film. That will definitely help you to understand the positivity of the schizophrenia. So, my dear friend, be safe and be blessed. I hope if my lecture gives you some positivity about this illness, I'll be really grateful to all of you. Thank you very much. Thank you all of you.